back, and next we go to Ms. McClellan from Virginia.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Ranking Member, for planning this important hearing. And I always enjoy when we talk about space and everyone goes through what's in their state, reminding everyone that manned space flight began in Virginia at Langley. And that we are still home to the NASA Langley Research Center, the Wallops Flight Facility, and several commercial space companies that provide critical services, develop innovative technologies, and promote economic development in our Commonwealth and beyond. So since we're putting those markers down, I just wanted to remind everybody of the importance of NASA Langley. With that, Dr. Kohler, could you discuss any gaps that need to be addressed in the regulatory frameworks for commercial remote sensing, including any challenges with the updated three-tiered approach to assessing risk?
A few years was intricately involved in the interagency negotiations on what are the right license conditions, and I was very pleased in the progress that have been made over the last 5 years. In the past, it was a lengthy, difficult process, and I boil it down to due to the fact that different heads of departments and agencies have different authorities. And we recognized that a few years ago and developed a memorandum of understanding that really advances the resolution process of when there are differences in opinions as the Secretary is providing national security conditions that, and the Department of State is providing conditions on international obligations. So I think there is a tremendous progress has been made, and I was very pleased to see the progress in the tiered approach between the three different tiers, and I see the numbers of approvals, the timeline for approvals have gone down tremendously, and there was great progress. Since then, I sort of lack the insight on where things are being stuck or if there are still issues, but in general, all of these were a great advancement and improvement.
Thank you for that. Ms. Dress, would you speak to how the U.S. government is working with the commercial space industry to enable more activity at commercial spaceports, especially those like Wallops?
Thank you so much for that. That's actually one of our priorities is space launch infrastructure and making sure that we retain that robust launch infrastructure across the country so that facilities like Virginia Space Center and Wallops have that ability to continue launching commercial payloads at any given time. There's a lot of activity that happens in the federal ranges, at the federal ranges at the Cape in Florida and Vandenberg in California, but there's an entire network of commercial spaceports across the country that can continue ensuring that we are able to develop these assets into space. And one of our priorities is ensuring that the STEM grant program, which is the grant program available for commercial spaceports, get reauthorized and refunded, so that we can continue developing those or allowing those assets to go into space from other facilities. Wallops is definitely one of the national assets that we consider in our commercial spaceport network, and Rocket Lab has been recently launching out of Wallops from a company that was originally established in New Zealand. So I think it's a testament to say, there's a lot of capability, there's a lot more capacity within the spaceport community, but an infrastructure program for those spaceports is essential.
And then I wanted to follow up with you on a previous question. From the industry perspective, can you discuss what changes to the regulatory environment would be needed to provide certainty for long-term investment and job growth?
So from a regulatory perspective, there's a lot of room for improvement overall, from launch and reentry regulation, export control, to remote sensing regulation. There's so much that we really need to be looking at as an entire space program within the industry, within the government, to make sure that we can continue that robust launch cadence. We've seen a significant uptick overall in the launch cadence over the past couple of years. I think 180 orbital launches even last year, and almost half of those are coming from China. So there's a significant factor that we're considering here with international competition. The regulatory environment in the U.S. is absolutely critical to making sure that we can retain that competitive edge.
Thank you, Ms. Chair. I yield back.
The lady, you